Manifesting becomes so much easier when you realize that it's all about alignment. It's not about bending reality to your will. It's not about forcing something or someone to change to give you what you want, the way you want it. It's to realize the mirror principle is always acting. Life is only reflecting who you are. Reality is a mirror to your state of consciousness. So reality doesn't care what you want. It doesn't care about your desperate desires. Reality only gives you what is most true about yourself, how you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself, about your world, about your reality, how you act and how you feel. So right now, you have to realize that you are manifesting everything in your reality, even if you're not aware, even if you're not coding it that, right? But way before manifesting was even a word, you are always in the process of creating, manifesting. It's not a switch that goes on and off, right? It's something we always do. So in your life right now, realize that all the good things that you're experiencing, all the things you can be grateful for right now, you have created that. You could say you have manifested that, and you keep on manifesting so many of those experiences, even if you take them for granted. At the same time, you could look at other patterns, other things, more negative, more things that you maybe don't enjoy, right? That you're also creating, manifesting, perpetuating some of those things, right? Maybe toxic relationship, maybe some lack, maybe some, whatever the context may be, right? So when we take accountability for what we create in our life, it becomes so much easier. Because then it's about understanding that for so many things in my life, I'm in alignment. Like all those things are working, I'm creating all those things, but here, in those contexts, in those examples, in those situations, somehow, somewhere, I must be out of alignment because I keep on creating those things. So it's not about trying to fight the mirror, fight the reflection, or make the reflection smile. When you are angry and you have anger issue, right? You have to realize that, okay, somewhere between myself, in my state of consciousness, my deep innermost thoughts and feeling are being reflected back to me. So there is somewhere that I need to requalify my thought, expand, grow, think greater, as I like to call it on this channel. Really, I need to become in alignment, meaning I need to start overcoming certain beliefs, certain thoughts, certain patterns, certain habits and programming that have been living, that have been creating certain things undesired in my life, or to bring new experiences, to bring more growth, to bring more evolution. So if you want to bring something radically new in your life that you've never experienced before, you have to realize that the container who you are right now, your identity, as it is right now, that has created the life that you have right now, is not able to bring novelty in your life. So you're gonna need to create novelty in your mind, in your consciousness, through your thoughts, through your emotions, through your decisions, through your actions, how you show up, what you do. And that's where alignment comes from, right? So in my channel, I talk about, the importance of becoming, having like that identity that helps you become successful, richer, fitter, stronger, whatever you want, right? Often the challenge that I see most people is that they're too swayed by what they see in the reflection. And this is the pitfall, is that we give so much of our attention to what is happening in our life, and that controls our mindset, our attitude, our perception, how we think, feel, decide, and the actions we do. So we are so entangled with what we have and the result we have right now, that as long as the reflection is not changing, I will not change. Yeah? So like I'm gonna believe it when I see it type of paradigm. But manifesting consciously is about realizing that when I believe it, then I'll see it, not before. I have to, as the Bible says, call things forth that are not as though they are. And this requires a lot of self-control, but it also requires you to give up certain aspects of yourself, certain thoughts, certain beliefs, certain notions, certain perception, and certain things around you that are no longer in alignment with the desired reality that you have. You cannot bring your scarcity and lack and hatred for money in the abundance, prosperity, and wealth that you want to create in your reality. Yeah? You cannot bring your anger and your bitterness and all your hatred because of what happened in the past in your relationship and so on, and create a new loving, harmonious relationship and friendship and so on. You're gonna need to be able to give up certain things that don't belong in your life, in a reality of what you wanna create. Yeah? Because otherwise, it's like you have that mental emotional backpack that doesn't fit through the door of the reality you're trying to get into. So Manifesting is very simple. It's something you always do. It's about alignment. It's about understanding that mirror principle. I have videos on this channel where I break down that exactly. Now the question is then, how do I create that alignment? And this is simply about, you could say on a surface level, I'm just going to visualize what I want, right? This is the simplest way to start, being like, okay, I'm going to consciously use my imagination to tell my mind, okay, this is the life I want to have, and so on. Like that visualization, that immersion, or those affirmation is beautiful. But you gotta go one step deeper, because if you're visualizing success in your job or money or relationship or whatever, right? But underneath that, you feel unworthy, you feel lacking, you feel doubt, you feel like an imposter. If underneath that you have the same old unworthiness feeling, life will reflect those core beliefs that you have the most. And so this is why sometimes you get mixed results, because the moment you're visualizing, you feel great, you're in there. But throughout the day, you keep showing up with the doubt, with the insecurity, with the limiting and negative thoughts. And so you keep acting and showing up in the same old way. So this is where you have to take one more step into embodiment. Visualization, affirmation, fantastic. But then it's about, how do I embody that throughout my day? And so this is all you have to do here is creative thinking. How would that successful version of myself think about the job, about the finance, about the interview, about whatever the context be? Like, if you just use that creative imagination, right, how would that version of myself think in that situation? How would that version of myself wake up in the morning? How would that version of myself feel when they wake up in the morning? What do they do in the morning? What is the attitude that they use with my family, with my relationship, in my work? What is the kind of energy that I bring in? How do I dress differently? How do I work differently? Like if you're contemplating a big decision or a change or something like that, how would that version of myself, that successful version of myself, or that version of me that lives that reality, how do they see that particular thing differently? So as you train yourself to think from that state, from that result, from that reality you want to create, now you think from alignment. At the beginning, it might feel like weird, it might feel like a bit difficult because there's space, because you haven't practiced it, because it's unfamiliar, because it's unknown territory for you. But the more you get familiar with it, the easier it flows, the more it multiplies. As they say in neuroscience, when you have neurons that fire, they wire together. And so you're creating that neural pathway. The more you think about it, the more you become it. And now you have alignment, because you think from that point of view. Now you can make different decisions, you can react differently, you can show up differently, but also your energy has changed, and you're showing that you have changed ahead of the experience. Now you're in alignment. And so the more you make those decisions, the more you show up like that, the more you create and live from that place as if you already have what you want to the best of your ability. That's when you see the magic happens, and that's when manifesting becomes effortless, because it's who you are. You're not trying to change anything. It just happens because now I have changed. I have changed to the point that I forgot who I used to be and how I used to think and how I used to show up, because now I'm already focused on this level, but also the next level. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope it makes sense. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think down in the comment. Hit that subscribe button if you want to help me grow this beautiful channel. I'll see you next time. Be well.